Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Jackie. Thanks for all of your work and support, and Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you're happy and well and been able to get out and enjoy some of the Bruce Trail. This is our first webinar of the year, and we're so grateful for your participation. I think we had over 160 people register, so this is a really popular topic, and we know that people are loving the new Bruce Trail app, so we're so grateful for you joining us today. I do have the pleasure of introducing our panelists today and our guest speaker, but I also want to sort of frame up today's webinar and let you know we're going to be introducing the app to you and introducing a lot of the functionality and the how to use it. So if you have technical issues, and so that might be specific to your phone or something that that you might feel isn't working in the app, we're going to ask that you email info@brucetrail.org. So we're not going to focus on the technical issues today, but we will be focusing on functionality, and I think you're going to love the new Bruce Trail app. So without any further ado, it's my great pleasure today to introduce Brooke Henry. Brooke joined the BTC in October of 2018 as an office administrator before joining the communications and engagement team in July of 2020. Brooke has a degree in history and English from Wilfrid Laurier University and a Bachelor of Education from Western University, and Brooke has also completed many digital marketing courses at Sheridan College. Prior to joining the BTC, Brooke held various roles at not-for-profit organizations, including the education coordinator at the museum in Kitchener and the donor services officer at Harbourfront Centre in Toronto. Brooke is an avid hiker and she enjoys taking photos along the Bruce Trail and is also a volunteer trail captain in Grimsby. So welcome, Brooke, and thanks for your presentation today.
Thank you so much, Michael. So I would like to get started. Welcome to the Bruce Trail app. As Michael said, I'm sure we're all very excited about its release. And this webinar is designed for people who have the app, but also for those who don't yet have the app. So we'll go through some of the features and just go through exactly why we're all so excited to use it and show you how to use it. So to start, we'll go over some of the key features. So some of the reasons why we're excited about the app is that it shows you the most up-to-date information about the Bruce Trail. So the app is great because while your guidebook was published last year, the app does have the up-to-date trail changes, up-to-date reservation systems, things like that, information that we cannot update regularly in something like the reference guide. So it's really great for that. It shows the entire main trail from Niagara to Tobermory, and that's the White Blaze Trail. And you'll see that on the app as a solid line. And also it shows all of our side trails. So we have over 400 kilometers of side trails, and you can see all of those on the app as well. And those are on the trail, they're blazed in blue, but on the app, you'll see them as a dotted line. It also has really amazing tools for you to plan your hikes. So it has tools for measuring short distances. It has tools for dropping pins in places of interest. And also you can create routes, which is really exciting to plan your hikes. And then one of the best features of the app is that you can track your hikes while on the trail. And we'll go over all of these today. So when you first download the app, this is the screen that you will see. Welcome to the Bruce Trail app. When you first open the app, it will ask you to create an account. And if you've already created an account, you can log in from this screen as well. The app is a subscription model. So you can either choose between $2.99 a month or $29.99 a year. But there is a 7-day free trial. So if you're not sure if you want to download the app or subscribe to the app, you can do the 7-day free trial and then just cancel it before you have to do the monthly or yearly payment. And the nice thing about this is if you only want to hike during the fall, say you're just a fall hiker, you do not have to purchase the app for the entire year. So you can just say you just want to go for October, you can have the app for $2.99. It has all of the maps of all of the trail. And then if you just say, oh, the weather's getting bad outside, I don't want to go out anymore, you can cancel the app and then sign up again once the weather's good again. So it gives people some flexibility. And then people who want to use the app year round, who love to go out in all weather, myself included, you can just do the annual and there is a small discount on that. So it has some flexibility for different types of hikers, which is great. So this is the subscription management page. So I just wanted to show this for those who did want to look into their subscription, see what they could do with it. You can find this on your profile page, which is on the home screen, which we'll show. And if you tap the gear in the top right corner for settings, it will take you to the settings page, which you can see in the second row there. And at the top, you see manage subscription. And if you choose that, you can then go to manage subscription, and you can either change whether you go from monthly to annual billing, or you can cancel your subscription altogether. So that's a really important screen for those who aren't sure what to do with their subscription. So this is the home screen. So this is a screen that we will be seeing a lot of today. And this screen really is what comes up once you log on to the app, and it allows you to see all of the different features of the app and takes you to all of the different pages of the app from this screen. So we will really be going on to Explore a lot today. That is really the main feature of the app. That is all of our maps. That is where you do your tracking, your planning. It has all those navigational features. But we'll also be going through a lot of these other features as well from this page. And I just wanted to show you while we were here. Second on the list, we have Know Before You Go. We won't be getting into this a lot today, but it does have really important information like the map legend. So if you're not sure what any of the markings mean, it shows you for new hikers how to follow the blazes, some hiking safety tips, some information about camping and fires along the trail, as well as some really important information about the conservation work that the Bruce Trail Conservancy is doing. So you can find that at Know Before You Go. Another item from the main menu there is the BTC maps. We will get into more detail with these, but these are really important because if you want to use the app without data or an internet connection, this is where you download the BTC maps and they can be used offline. So that's really important for anyone who's going somewhere where you're not sure if you'll have a really good connection, which happens when you're out on the trail. Sometimes you lose connection. If you download the maps before you go out, you will have them on your app. So that's a really great feature. The BTC maps are also, they look like what they look like in the reference guide. So if you're familiar with the reference guide and you like the looks of that and the details that you can find in the reference guide, these are a great source as well, and they'll be really helpful if you are familiar with those. And we'll go over how to download those in a video coming up. But basically you can see there's the downloaded column on that screen there. I have downloaded all of the maps. And if you do not have downloaded maps, there's the available column and you would choose that and you can download maps from there. And then those would then show up on the Explore screen. Another item on that main menu is saved routes, pins, and hikes. So when you have gone into the Explore page and you've created a route or you've dropped a pin and you've saved those, this is where you can find them. And we'll go over this as well. One really cool feature of the app is the first time you go into the Explore screen, once you've downloaded the app, you've signed in, you go into the Explore screen for the first time, this tutorial will pop up. And it's really helpful. It helps you get familiar with the app, shows you where things are. And the nice thing about this is if you just want to skip it, you can. If you want to go through it, you can. But then if you want to go through it again, you can go to the help screen from the main page and you can just reset the tutorial and it will allow you to go through it as many times as you want if you're having trouble remembering what everything does. And we're going to go through it just now. So this is a screenshot of what happens when you go into the Explore page. It pops up saying, hey, welcome to the new Bruce Trail app. Would you like to go through this tutorial? If you say yes, it will then show you these screens. So it first shows you where the filter button is, and that's in the top right corner there. And that's how you adjust the different features on the maps themselves, or you choose the type of map you're looking at. It then shows you the little circle with the eye in it. This actually takes you to the Know Before You Go page. So this will then take you to that page that has those helpful hiking tips. And then it also shows you in the bottom right, we have our 4 key navigational features. So it shows you the ruler, which is a tool that you can use to measure from point A to point B. A very quick measurement, and it doesn't allow you to save that. But if you're wondering, okay, how long until I get to the parking lot? I'm getting cold. That's a really good tool to use. If you go to the last screenshot here, we can see that there's also a drop a pin feature. This is really great if you say park your car somewhere, you can drop a pin and then you'll know that's where your car is. You can save that. Or if you say find a really nice lookout, you can drop the pin and then you can know, okay, when I go on this hike again, that was a really nice lookout, let's hike to there. Something like that. And then the other 2 that we have on that list are the create a route feature. So you can see that with the 2 little pins and the line in between. This is my personal favorite tool. It's a really great tool for planning hikes. You can drop multiple pins, you can go on side trails, main trails, and it will tell you how long the hike is. And it's a really great tool for if you're planning in and out hikes or linear hikes, any type of hike. This is an excellent tool and you can save those. And then of course we have the tracking feature, which is really helpful for when you're actually on the trail in real time. You can track your hike and see how far you go, and you can save those as well. So with that, we're going to get started and we're going to watch some videos and I'll talk us through how some of these features work. So we're going to start with this one here. So this video is just a really intro video to how to navigate the app. So this video is really helpful because we have the main menu here, but then when we go into Explore, you can get back to this main menu by using these 3 lines in the top left corner. So I'll show you that now. So if you go to the Explore page, this is what it looks like. And you can use your fingers to move along the trail and you can zoom in and out. And then in the top left, you tap, and then you can see all of those items. You can go back home to see the main menu. Or if you go back to Explore, you do those 3 lines in the top, you can see the whole menu here and you can navigate to other pages from the other pages. So if we're on Explore now, we can navigate to, say, the saved pins, hikes, and routes. Or you can go from here back to Explore. So it's a really helpful tool, so you can hop between pages really quickly. And you'll see me do a lot of those in the next videos. So usually I try to go to the home page to then go to the next page, but sometimes we can just use the side menu there. So the next video here, we have the different filters and the different types of maps that we'll go through. So there are 3 types of map on the iOS, so the Apple version of the app. But on the Android version, there are 4 types of maps. So that's something to keep in mind. I have an Apple iPhone, so you'll only see the 3 types of maps. But on Android, you would also see a type of map called terrain, and it just has some light shading and some very faint topo lines on the terrain one. So there is that additional map for Android. So this video will go through those. I would just like to highlight the fact that we actually have 2 brand new features that if you had the old app, some of these might look similar, but 2 that you did not have on the old app were no pet zones that we've highlighted. And also really exciting, we have the BTC protected natural areas. So on this app, you can choose a filter that will show you all of our protected areas, which is really exciting. So we'll get started. So we'll go into Explore from the main menu. And you can see the trail. And you'll see here that there are no details on the trail right now. You just see the trail. And of course, the default map that we have here. And I'm just zooming out, there's the whole trail. And you can zoom in and out using your fingers, just pinching and going like so with your fingers. And you'll see more detail the closer you zoom in. If you go to the top right, you'll see that filter button. This is where you see your different map types. So this is the BTC map format that I discussed. You press apply, and you can see all those BTC maps on the app there. So you can zoom in, see those details. And the BTC maps, of course, have edges. So it will go into the default map at the edge there. We also have satellite view. So if you tap satellite, press apply, you can see the satellite view there. And I find this helpful for sometimes you don't know how it exactly forested or exposed. Maybe you'll be on the trail. Maybe you're wondering what this blue water feature is on the trail. There's different uses for this. Other people might just like to use this just visually. It's really personal preference, which map you prefer. So you can zoom in and out on this as well. And then of course, we started with the default. I'll just show you, you can go back to that. And this just shows your basic map details. And the Apple is with Apple Maps. So you can see the trail there. From here, you can also put different map details. So I've chosen parking here. And if you make sure it's checked, press apply, you can then see all of those parking details. Now to see more about parking, you just tap on one of the P's and a little flag will come up. And if you tap on that flag, you'll get more details about that parking area. And I'll show you another one as well. So if you tap on a P, tap the flag, more details will come up about that parking. You can also, from here, get directions to that parking area by choosing Get Directions at the bottom. That will then just take you to your map of choice. Like I use Google Maps, and we'll show you how to get there. Now we'll look at campsites. So you can see campsites on the maps. They're signified by a little tent, just like in the reference guide. And if you tap on those, you'll also see a little flag like with the parking, and you can see more details about those areas. So this one's the Dundas Valley, and you can also get directions or view on a Google map that way. I'll show you one more. So then we just scroll on up nearby at Rattlesnake Point, we have another tent, and you can click on that, click on the flag, and you'll see more details, which is really helpful for anyone who wants to do any overnight camping. We're available. If we go back to the filter, I'll show you the side trail names next. So you click on side trail names, press apply, and we can see the side trail names along the trail. We are working on getting these more visually appealing. Right now, they're just kind of, large. And if you zoom out, they do go away. So we are working with the app developer to just give these a little bit of a fresher look. So that is something that we will have in an upcoming version of the app. We also have trail notices. These are really important for any closures, any just notices regarding you need a reservation for this area. You will find these by using trail notices. And it's the same as the camping and the parking. You tap on it, you click on the flag, and it will show you more details. And now these are updated. So Scott will update these regularly as we get trail changes in. He will update these. So at the time of this recording, these were what were up, and we had different trail notices at Kelso, and you can find those details there. You'll also see it links to the trail change on our website. So if you need more details, you can always go there. You'll also see that trail changes are in black. The trail goes black when there is a trail notice. Now this is one of those new features that I mentioned. So there are some no pet zones on the trail. That is for landowner relations. Landowners kind enough to let the trail go through, but they've just requested that there's no pets. And they look like this. there's a paw with a highlighted section of trail to another paw, and that will show you where you can't have dogs. And finally, we have BTC protected natural areas. These look like so with our green diamond and the property is outlined and you can see it there. You can tap on the green diamond, tap on the name, and it will give you some information about that protected area. So I'll show you another one. Tap on the diamond, tap on the name, and it shows you a little bit more about the area. And hopefully soon we'll get more and more of these green diamonds along the trail as we protect more of the trail. So you can see those. So that is how you find different features, and you can set up your map however you want. I personally really enjoy having parking areas when I'm planning my hikes and trail notices, because that's what I want to know. But that's just, it depends on the type of hike you're going on. If you're doing a through hike, then those camping areas are really important. If you have a dog and you want to take them out for hikes, those no pet areas are really important. And then the BTC protected natural areas, it's just nice to see the work that the BTC is doing as well. So we're going to move on to the next video here. So as I mentioned, BTC maps, we saw it in the map filter. You do have to download them in order to see them, and I'll show you what it looks like before and after. But these, once you download them, you can use them offline, which is really helpful for when you're out on the trail and you don't have great reception, or if your phone is low on data. So there's that. And they also have all those features that the Bruce Trail Reference Guide maps have. So they are really nicely designed, and a lot of people will be familiar with those. So I'll show you how you can download them and then how you view them as well. So from the Explore page, we can see, oh, actually, sorry, from the main menu, we can go to BTC Maps for offline use. And you'll see here that at this time, I didn't have any of the maps downloaded. So I don't have anything listed here. And if I go to our Explore page and choose BTC map as the map type, nothing will happen. It just looks like the default map. And that's because I haven't downloaded any of the BTC maps. So if I go to the BTC maps for offline use and I go to available, you can see all of these maps are available for download. And all you have to do is tap and tap on download. And I've now downloaded the Stony Creek map. And so when I go to downloaded, we can see the Stony Creek map is there. And from here, you can tap on the map, view map, and you can now see it on the Explore page. So you can see that I have the map, but that is the only map I have. So you can see the borders of that map and no other BTC maps around it. So if you're only going in one area, you're only doing a small hike, you can do that, especially if you don't have a lot of space on your phone. That is a good option. You can also say you want to delete this map, say it's not the map you want. You can do that from the downloaded page as well. It's not permanently deleted. You can always download it again from the app under available. And you can see it there. There's the Stony Creek map now under available. So you can download more than one map as well. So I've just downloaded the Hamilton one by tapping and choosing download map. And then we can press continue. And when you go to downloaded, you will see both of those maps there. And we can view those maps on the Explore page. And you'll see there's the Dundas map as well as the Hamilton map. And you can see all those details that you would see on our reference guide maps, but the trail is updated regularly on the app. So if we go back to our BTC maps, we can also go to available. And this is the list view of the maps. And so I wanted to show you that, but I also wanted to show you the map view. So if you wanted, you can use this view as well. And it shows you the maps you have downloaded in dark green. And then the other maps that have not been downloaded yet are in that pale green with black writing. So you can download maps this way as well. So I tapped on the watered down map and I pressed download and it's downloaded. And so we'll see now that the watered down map has been added. It is in dark green. It has now been downloaded as well. And you can see it on our app now on the Explore page. So if we go back to maps, we can also download them if we go back to the list view all at once. So at the top there, you'll see it says download all available maps. It does make sure you have the storage space on your phone. You can download it this way, and then you'll have all of the maps available. It just takes a moment to download. And we can press continue. And you'll see none are under available, but they are all under downloaded. And you can see all of the BTC maps there. And from here, you can click on whatever map you want to see. You can go to map view. You can see that they're all downloaded in dark green there. And you can choose a map from here, or you can go back to your Explore screen and put on the BTC map filter. So that's the end of that video. So once you have all those maps, you can use the BTC map filter. You can see the trail. You don't need to have them if you have Wi-Fi or data, and that's available on your phone. You can also use the default map on the trail. I used it the other day without data on. It will be accessible. It's just for guaranteed view and to zoom in and get those details. The BTC maps are the best option for offline use. So I just wanted to show you as well, once you have those maps downloaded, you can also search on the Explore page by map number or map name, and also by features on the trail. So I'll show you this now. And one great thing that I'll show you at the end of this video is the BTC maps show the topography. This is something that we've been asked a few times, like, oh, where are the topography lines? The BTC maps show them very clearly, and you can see those. So I'll show you now. So there's the search bar at the top. I can type map and whatever map number I like. So say I wanted 38 for Lion's Head. Click on that, it takes you right to it. And you can see the map and the area. You can zoom in and out once you're there. And you can remove from view once you get there, and it will just keep you there. And that's just to clear the search. We can also search by map name. So if I wanted Pretty River, for example, type that in, it takes you there. And then you can see the map that you're looking for. I chose Pretty River specifically because it is the area of the highest point on the trail. And once you zoom in, you can see those topographical lines and the numbers on the BTC maps. So you can see those clearly on the map there. So those are helpful if you're wondering about elevation and that kind of thing. Okay, so we're going to move on now to those features, the navigational features that you can see in the bottom right of the Explore page. So we're going to start, we're going to go top to bottom. We're going to start with the measuring function. So I mentioned before that the measuring function is really useful for getting from point A to point B. It only allows you to drop 2 pins, but it's a very quick measuring tool. I've used it while on the trail when one of my hiking buddies was like, how much longer? I'm like, okay, well, let me see. Dropped A, B, very quickly could tell them it was 1.5 kilometers. So it is a useful tool for that, but you cannot save your measurement. So other features, you will be able to save your measurement. This one is just an in the moment kind of use. So I'll show you that now. So if we were hiking, for example, here, and we say we just crossed Trafalgar Road, and you're wondering, okay, how long until I get to that parking spot? So you can press the ruler, tap on the trail where you are, tap on the trail where you want to go, and it tells you at the bottom, it is 1.39 kilometers from Trafalgar Road to that parking area. So that is really useful for that. I mean, everyone can kind of find a different use for it, but that is what I would use it for myself. And so that's a quick and easy one because you don't need to save it. It just clears out and we can move on to the next one. So in the bottom right, the second on our list is the pin function. I mentioned earlier, this is a good function for, say, you have parked your car somewhere and you want to remember where it is, or say you see a really nice lookout and you want to remember where it is. This is a great function. In my example here, I drop a pin at our new tall grass prairie at Fisher's Pond. So if you want to go see a tall grass prairie and you want to remember where it is, this is how you do it. So we have Fisher's Pond here, and I choose the pin function in the bottom right, and then you just tap on the trail where you want to drop your pin, press save pin, and then you can call it whatever you want. So I've decided to call this tall grass prairie. You can add notes like about how it was to get there or what the weather was like, anything you like, and you can see it there. You can see that it still says pin tall grass prairie at the top. If you tap that and choose remove from view, that works as well. Now, if you go to saved pins, routes, and hikes, this is where you find all of your saved items, and you can view these on your map as well. So if you want it to remove from map, you can do that, but then you can always find it in your saved pins, hikes, and routes. So that's the pin function. So now we're going to move on to my personal favorite, which is how to create a route. This is similar to the measuring function, except that you can drop multiple pins, not just the two, and you can go use your finger to tap on the map, and you can tap all along the trail to create a route, and it tells you the distance of that route you've created. So we'll go to explore, and I've decided to make a route at Speyside. So I choose third at the bottom there, which is the create a route function. And I recommend really zooming in to close to the parking lot in order to drop your pin close to the parking lot. You can zoom in using your fingers to pinch in and out, and then you just tap along the trail. And you can zoom in and out while you do this. And that really helps with making sure it's a really accurate pin drop. And so I've decided to go up this side trail, and then I go back on the main trail, and the side trails are those dotted trails, of course. And so then I can go, okay, I want to go around, and I'm going to loop back on the main trail, and I'm going to loop back, but I'm going to take the main trail back. And then I'm going to go back to the parking area, and I zoom in again, and I drop a pin right beside where the parking area is, and then I choose end here once I've completed the entire route. So when you choose end here, this screen comes up and you can title your hike whatever you would like. And so I've decided to call this the Speyside hike, and you can put whatever notes. So say you want to say, oh, this is just a quick 5K, whatever you want to put in the notes, you can do that. And then you'll see your saved hike in blue. And if you choose route at the top there, it says Speyside hike, you can tap that. And if you want to remove it from view, that's how you do that. So you can see there is where it was, but it's gone now. And then the next video is how you can find that saved route. So I'll show you that now. If we go to saved routes, pins, and hikes, and then we go to our saved routes, I've made quite a few. They're all dated, they all have that title, and you can find your hike and you can view it on the map again. So even though you remove it from view, it is still saved in the app under that saved hikes and routes. So that is a really nice thing. So if you don't want all that clutter of all your saved hikes on the app, you can always just remove them from view and go find them again. And this is our last feature that I'll review here. This one is great. You can use this in real time while on the trail, and it is tracking your hike. So this is a great way to see how far you go. Say you didn't plan your hike ahead of time and you're just like, oh, I'm just going to go. We'll see how far we go. We'll see the elevation. We'll see how long it takes us. And it also gives you your speed, which is really interesting. So I went out on the trail and I did a tracked hike. It was very short, but we'll see it on this video here. I'm just going to apologize. I think I left the parking flag up. Yes, I did, but I didn't realize that at the time. But basically, I chose track at the bottom, press start, and you can tell you're tracking because it's flashing red tracking at the top there. So very simple to start the track. Just choose track at the bottom, press start, and it will start tracking. So that one's great. And then I went on my hike. So while I was on my hike, while the tracking was on, I was able to take some photos. So it works in the background and you can use your phone for other things, which is really great. I've gotten phone calls while using the tracking on the app, and it's worked throughout the phone call. So it's really helpful there. And you can do whatever you like while you're on your hike. And then after my hike was done, so I only did this one for 10 minutes. I went about half a kilometer. I went up quite a few stairs, so there's quite a bit of an elevation change. This is how I ended my hike. So I pressed at the bottom, you see that green button that says stop. Say I wanted to keep going, I would do resume, but this time I wanted to finish my hike. So I pressed finish, and then I could title my hike whatever I liked. This one I just chose test hike, and you can put whatever notes. So say it was like a windy day or there was a lot of stairs, you can put that there if you like. You can zoom in. The tracked hike is in orange with the dotted line, and you can see where you went, which is really neat. All along the trail there, you can remove that from view. Just like with the pin and the saved route, you can then find your saved tracked hike by going to saved routes, pins, and hikes. And we'll show you that as well. So saved routes, pins, and hikes, tracked hikes, just at the bottom. And our test hike is the top one there. And you can see all your details about that hike. And you can view this on your map again by choosing view on map at the bottom. So there's my hike, and I can zoom in to get more details. And there it is. So you can remove it from view, or you can press OK. And again, just like a lot of these features, you'll see it if you just do remove from view, you'll see it at the top. You can click on it again, and you can remove from view this way if you want to take away that clutter from the app and use your app for other things. So with that, I just wanted to talk about a few other things that have come up since we've released the app. One of the things that people have requested are club boundaries. So this is just showing where one section ends and the other one begins. We are aware that they are not right now on the app, and we are working on getting them on the app for an upcoming update. So those we are working on, and they will be added to the app shortly. Another thing people have asked about is sharing. Right now, we cannot share our hikes and that kind of thing to, say, social media or with friends. This is something we're aware of, and we are looking into with our developer. So we have our app developer, and we're exploring different options for that. Another thing people have asked about is end-to-end logs. So a lot of people have asked like, oh, can I just submit my tracked hikes directly from the app? This is not an option at this time. But what you could do is take screenshots of your tracked hikes and save them in another folder. So say you want to save them in a Word document or an Excel. And they can also help you when you're tracking your hikes for your end-to-end. You can see your tracked hikes and you can use it to help you plan and that kind of thing. The one thing about end-to-end logs is we do require a physical copy at this time. Everyone who sends in an end-to-end log of the whole trail to us, we do keep on file. They do go into our archives. So we do like to have a physical copy of that end-to-end. And you do need to be a member to have to submit an end-to-end. So there's just a few things that make it a little bit more difficult, but the app is a very good tool for planning an end-to-end and for tracking your hikes for your end-to-end. So there is that. But also too, I will say the best way to get familiar with the app is to have fun with it, play with it, try it out yourself, take it out on the trail, plan some hikes, and that will be the best way to get familiar with it and to get comfortable with it, is just to keep using it and really testing out all those different features, which are all really helpful and amazing. So we will have a question and answer period, but I did want to say that anything that is not addressed in this question and answer, or any technical issues that you're having with the app, you can always send those to info@brucetrail.org. And so with that, we can open up to some of the questions. I see there's a few there, so.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Brooke. What a fantastic tour of the app. And I think everybody can see that wasn't the easiest the easiest thing to present. So thanks for the wonderful videos and the screenshots. It was really, really helpful. And I bet everybody learned a lot. I'll just share with everybody, the app's been really well received so far. So we are getting a lot of positive feedback. I think we're at about 4,000 downloads so far in total. So that's a great sign. And again, Brooke shared, like, the app is so customizable for how you want to use it. That's a strong, strong feature. Showing the BTC protected areas is something that we're really excited about. And I love that feature about the app. And then just the ability to be able to get directions to an exact parking lot directly from the app is so helpful. Those are some of my favorite features. And it's funny, Brooke, leading hikes, even with my own family, I often get asked how much longer. And I've also done the exact same thing as you, where I say, all right, let me just measure on the app and we'll see. So thanks for a great presentation. Brooke, we've got a whole bunch of different questions, and so I'm going to kind of go through and thematically pick them and send them to you. But the first one is on the downloaded maps. So let's say you choose to download the maps. If there are changes, will those apps be updated, or do you have to re-download them?
Yes, so the map itself is a background layer, and the trail is on top of that. So the trail will be updated over top of that map. So the trail itself and any of those updates will happen, and the map will just stay static because it just really has like the street names and that kind of thing. So it's a background layer. The trail on top of it is updated regularly, and any trail changes or trail updates will be seen if you're using the BTC maps.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Brooke. And we had about 5 people ask that question, so that was a popular question. The next question, which is also on here a few times, is how come we don't see kilometer markings on the maps? And,
right.
So do you want to speak to that, Brooke?
Yes, and I meant to mention that when we were discussing other features. So the reason we don't have kilometer markings is because the trail does change regularly. The trail will have a closure here, or it will move onto a different property there. And so the kilometer markings are always in flux. And because we want to have the most up-to-date information on the app, if we included kilometer markings, those would constantly need to be, or regularly, often need to be updated. And I know those are in the reference guide, but what the reference guide doesn't have is the measuring function and the plan a route function, which those two show kilometer distances. The app, you can also see on all of those features, whether it's the pin or the tracking route or the creating a route, those all also have latitude and longitude available. So if you drop a pin, you can see the latitude and longitude. And so you can use that, as well as if you choose a parking lot, you can then do view or get directions, sorry. And that is another way to take it to Google Maps and get directions that way. So we just felt that there were so many other navigational tools available with the app that's not available in the reference guide, that it would be very complicated to put the kilometer markings on the app, as they are being updated so regularly.
Okay, thank you, Brooke. And I think that makes a lot of sense. So because then we're gonna have a situation where they're different, different kilometer markings, one in the reference guide and one on the. So thanks for making that clear. I've got a couple comments here. One is a great presentation, thank you. So I wanted to share that, Brooke. The second one that says not a question, but a great presentation, well done. So thank you, Brooke, for that. Somebody's got a question here. Does the tracking feature drain your battery much? Can you speak to that, Brooke? And I know you've done more than 10-minute hikes. I know you have.
Yeah, that was just, I realized I needed to take a video of tracking, and I thought, oh, shoot. Yes, so I have not found that it drains my battery at all. And like I said, you can take pictures and take phone calls and that kind of thing while you're tracking. And so I have not found it an issue. Some people have mentioned that when they close the app, they can still see on their phone that the app is working in the background. And that is true. The app does continue to work in the background, but the app is still running in the background. So if you want that to go away, on an iPhone, for example, I swipe up and I can swipe to close the app entirely. So that is something I wanted to note as well. That's you can close the app entirely to make it stop tracking you. And it's just, if you see it, it's just working in the background and it's not closed entirely if you see that. But I have not found an issue with battery when tracking.
Okay, thank you, Brooke. And I think you answered this, but somebody's asking, so if you choose to have the app for a few months and then discontinue, and then you sign up a few months later, do you still have your saved hikes and your pins?
The developer has, I haven't tried it myself. The developer has said that yes, you do still have those, as long as you sign in with the same account and you have the same Google Play or Apple ID account. So because the app is purchased through Google Play or Apple, you have to make sure you're logged in on that, as well as in your account on the app.
Right. So as long as you're staying within the same ecosystem from Apple to Apple or Google to Google, then you'll be fine. So thank you, Brooke.
Yeah.
Someone is asking a question, how can I delete a pin when I create a hike? Sometimes I mark the wrong spot.
Oh, yes. So in your saved hikes, so when you go to saved pins, hikes and tracks, you can see that there's 3 little dots beside the saved pin or hike. If you tap those 3 dots, there is an option to delete. And I do this all the time. Sometimes I'll make a hike and then be like, actually, no, I want to go somewhere else, or actually, no, I want to go a little further than what I had saved. And so you can delete it from that saved pins screen.
Okay, thank you. Someone asked, Brooke, can you see parking on the downloaded maps?
As long as you have the parking filter on, you can see them on there.
Okay,
and
fantastic.
the nice thing about these is, especially with COVID, a lot of parking has been changing, and the app will show the most up-to-date parking information.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to find a different kind of question here. Let's see. So there's a couple questions here, Brooke, about people asking, can you drop a pin to report a tree hazard and so on and so forth? And so I know we've talked about this. So as an example, imagine you are out hiking and you see a downed tree. You can drop a pin there, and then that gives you the coordinates. You could then send those coordinates to the Bruce Trail offices, and our conservation team would work with the club volunteers to make sure that gets taken care of. So that's a question that I know absolutely the answer to. But as we look at adding more functionality, it's possible that we might make that more shareable, but that's something that's on our radar. So thanks for those comments. Somebody, Brooke, is asking, the reference book has written descriptions for the different routes. Or do we plan on adding that to the app?
At this time, we don't plan on adding it to the app. It is just a little bit of a different tool, but with the elevation that you can see on the BTC maps, as well as the distance markers and that kind of thing, you get a lot of information. And if you want to use the satellite view, that can help as well for seeing different features around the trail. So right now we don't have that planned.
Okay, thank you. And Brooke, someone's asking, are all protected areas including on the maps, non-BTC and BTC? And I know the answer, but I'll let you say it.
What we have highlighted are just the BTC acquired properties. So they're not, although we do have, you can see where there's conservation areas and national parks, they're not flagged like the BTC protected areas are. Michael, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that.
No, I think you're right. I think you can see when you're going through different conservation areas and so on and so forth. But we're specifically concentrating on showing the BTC protected area so that you can understand as a member and as a donor, when you donate, you get to actually go and tour the land that you help save. And I think that's beautiful and amazing. So there's a comment here. I think this is more about an enhancement saying, can we add more descriptions to the protected lands, as in, what species are there and so on and so forth. So we'll take that feedback and think about that. So thank you for that. Someone here is asking, how accurate is the location when you don't have internet? And I think they mean data, but can you talk to that, Brooke, please?
Yeah, so I actually did a hike that same day that I did the tracking without my data on. So with the data, it was very much along the trail. Without data on, it does still use your GPS in your phone, because the GPS in your phone doesn't need data necessarily. That said, it was just a little slightly out because when you have your data on, you have your phones using both data and those GPS. But with the data off, it's just GPS. So it will still track you, but with the escarpment being right beside you and that kind of thing, it's not as accurate if your data is off. But it does still show with tracking.
Thank you, Brooke. And I know the answer to this, but I'll let you answer it as well. But does the app have voice navigation?
It does not. But if you wanted to get voice navigation for getting to and from the trail, you can get directions and go to your Google Maps that way.
Okay, great. Thank you. You've got a great voice, Brooke. So if we add that feature, you'll have to start recording a lot of words. Let's see. Someone here is saying, can you load the app on multiple devices? So example, I want to do my planning on a tablet, but then I'll take my phone on the trail.
So as long as both devices are either both are on an Apple ID that's the same, or both are on a Google Play ID that's the same, then you can use them on both devices. Basically, the app had to be developed for Apple and then separately developed for Android, so they cannot cross over. So as long as you have like an iPad with an iPhone, you can do that as long as you're logged in to the same Apple ID.
Okay, great. And I think you answered this next question in your presentation, but again, there was a lot going on. So someone's asking, when getting directions to a parking lot, is there a choice of maps, or does it always default to Google? Because I prefer Apple Maps.
Yeah, actually, I prefer Google, but I have an iPhone, and it did ask me the first time what I preferred to use. So the first time you do get directions, it will ask you which type of map you want to use. And actually, I have my Apple Maps disabled, so that's why I chose Google.
Okay, thank you.
The answer is yeah.
And Brooke, I know this question keeps popping up, and I know we've talked about it. I think people are just wanting to make sure they have the most up-to-date information, but it says, can you please clarify, if I have maps downloaded, how can I ensure I have the most recent version?
So the app is automatically updated and they will be the most recent. When you open your app, it says updating trail data when you first go in, and that's how you know you'll have the most up-to-date information available.
Okay, great.
It
Thank you.
automatically does it for you.
That's great. I think, Brooke, that's pretty much it for a lot of the thematic questions. There's some questions I can see here that are technical. So for the questions we haven't answered, we'll be able to get back to you individually. There's questions about people saying, well, my phone goes to sleep, or, how do I turn on GPS and so on and so forth. So for those specific questions, we'll get back to you directly. And I think that's it for today's presentation. So Brooke, any closing thoughts for the group before we close out?
Well, mostly that I just hope you enjoy it. I've been really having a lot of fun with it, and it is a great tool to add to your hiking list. So I hope you all enjoy it and take advantage of the free 7-day trial if you haven't already. It's a really fun tool to use.
Okay, well, thanks to Brooke for an excellent presentation. Thanks to all of you for joining us today. And please, download the app, get out, enjoy nature, and have some fun. And we will see you at the next webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.